Hello, this is Jamie White bringing you another live stream. I guess this is the fourth week in a row we've done this. So thank you for
Yeah.
everybody who's coming back and taking a listen to what we have. As always, I'm here with my uh, podcast partner, Ray Hayes. So Ray, thank you for joining me
Oh,
again.
it's my pleasure, man. You ain't
Yeah.
gotta thank me. We gonna do this all the time, man. I got your back.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah. So skip last week. We did on Monday because obviously the Super Bowl. So I'm pretty sure everybody has something to do. Which no problem with that. Uh, so that's why we moved it to Monday. But this week, obviously back to Sunday. Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely leave us a message if you think that another time is better for you or your contemporaries. And things that are like that. But for now, Sundays at 3 p.m. Now, before we get started with today's podcast, which is HBCUs and their upcoming meeting with the Trump administration on February 28th, I do want to say something interesting that I wasn't able to tell you about, Ray. I was trying to get you on a couple of minutes beforehand, but
Okay.
the podcast that you did with about covering the HBCUs
Mhm.
before this one, it actually did fairly well. Uh,
Okay.
I got like a couple of views, I think 10 or 11 views, which for right now is pretty high for us. Uh, and it even got a couple of likes. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, yeah. So I'm guessing that this is hopefully will help or just go into that or whatever. So or let me say that again. I think that what that shows is that people are interested in this upcoming meeting with the Trump administration with HBCUs because I know I didn't know anything about it until you brought it to my attention. So
Right.
man, so it's pretty interesting, and I think people do want to know more. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so for starters, just to begin and to start out, I want you to kind of tell everybody about this upcoming meeting, and then we'll get into our thoughts on it.
Okay. You said I'm sorry. Say it again, Jay. I couldn't
Oh
hear you.
no, I said, could you? I'm just gonna
Go
let
ahead.
you tell because you told me about it. So just tell everybody else, everybody who's listening about the upcoming
Oh,
meeting.
the meeting and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we'll give our
Okay. I'm
thoughts
sorry.
afterwards.
Uh, okay. On currently on February 28th. Right now, it's been scheduled February 28th. Uh, a representative from the Trump administration, Omarosa, and congressional members of Congress are planning on meeting with HBCU presidents. I'm not sure where the event is taking place. Most likely it will be at the White House, but not sure. But the meeting will discuss the state of HBCUs. According to many cable news websites and different political websites, President Trump is eager to boost funding for historically black colleges. Uh, Under the Obama administration, there was some members of the HBCU community kind of frustrated with President Obama. One factor was former President Obama refused to renew a temporary pot of 850 million earmarked for HBCUs under the Bush administration. So President Obama he refused to go about renewing that temporary funds being sent to HBCU. So a few people were upset. According to many sources, President Donald Trump was kind of taken back as to why he did renew it. So I'm assuming possibly President Trump may go about renewing that fund to HBCUs. So, but we'll wait and see. There hasn't been much detail as to who's going to be at the meeting so far, but it should
Other
be
than
interesting. I
Omarosa.
mean, as both of us know, Jamie, coming from HBCUs, a lot of HBCUs suffer from a lack of funds, so they're unable to spend money on certain departments, and particularly computer science or engineering, and the departments that who, when it comes to careers wise, minorities are lacking in those fields. So
Yeah.
should be,
So
like I said, I mean, like you said, it should be an interesting meeting, but it's what can we expect from it? That was my whole get around from it. Well, like what can the members of these HBCUs come in and say to President Trump?
yeah. So my
Other than, hey, can we renew that fund? What can they ask for?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah. My question is, do you know why President Obama, which I'm pretty sure everybody's wondering right now, why didn't President Obama renew that 850 million?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The website Politico.com, they actually wrote a piece about Obama's complicated HBCU legacy. But I'm not sure
It does
why he
sound
didn't go
complicated.
about the full reason why he didn't renew the fund.
Yeah, I was about to say that doesn't really sound complicated. That's
Yeah,
a
so
bad
I'm not
relationship.
sure.
That's a bad relationship. I don't know how that's complicated, but that's interesting, especially when you consider the fact that the former president of HBCUs under the Obama administration became the head of Morehouse. So I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure he would know why Obama decided not to renew that.
Renew it.
Yeah, that's I don't I do not understand that at all. Wow, that is crazy. I just wrote a article about how former President Obama, along with Susan Rice, were trying to like increase diversity in the National Security Department, and here we have him refusing to renew an $850 million fund. Um, so I mean, we don't know what was in that 850 million. I don't know. Maybe I have no clue. So we just can't guess or speculate on that. But that is very surprising news. Now let's go ahead and let's get
But
into.
but
Okay.
before we go on, I did want to point out, even though you have that kind of tarnish in, I mean, well, kind of bad image in President Obama's presidency. However, under his administration, HBCU funding increased nearly $1 billion during
Really?
his presidency. Yes, but
So
that
what?
renewal of the fund was not approved. However, funding has increased. Federal funding for HBCU did increase by $1 billion.
When you say federal funding, are we talking about loans?
Yeah, Pell Grants,
Uh,
uh, so forth. I mean that help
I mean,
definitely minority students
I mean,
attending HBCUs. I mean
true,
even
true, but
predominantly
loans.
white
Yeah,
colleges
yeah.
as
I would
well.
say true, but loans, like just in general, have increased, and I don't think that's a good thing. And you know what? Maybe that might have been a part of the Obama administration's plan is to decrease like funding that I guess they just give to the colleges so that they can help students, and then they just did it themselves. Uh,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I hope not, because I honestly don't like that idea. Because now you have more people in debt.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. But I mean, however, with the Pell Grant, that's
oh well, that's
regards
true.
to
It's a grant.
that. I
Yeah, it's a
mean,
grant, so
yeah,
you don't
that's
have to pay.
money.
Yeah,
That's
you don't
money
have to pay
coming
that
to us.
off.
They're not going into debt for that. So
That's true. That's
just
true.
wanted to throw that out
Yeah,
there.
good point. That's a good point. If most of them if most of them were grants, then yeah, that's actually a phenomenal idea. But when you say federal funding, what does that funding mean?
And let's say student financial assistance. So there could be other grants out there
Yeah,
that
but it could also be
attribute to that $1
loans.
billion
That's what
dollars.
I'm saying. Like if it's
Yeah.
just grants, then yeah, like that's great. That is I that he would not. Well, maybe the 850 were debt, were was debt type of funding, and then or loans, and then the 1 billion that Obama ended up doing was grants. Maybe I don't know. Let's not speculate. Let's not because if we do that, then
Right.
people
Right.
might take away that and be like, oh, Obama did this because we don't know. So the only facts that we know is that they increased it $1 billion in terms of federal funding for HBCUs, but he did not renew the $850 million funding piece. We don't know why. So
Yeah. But there's even more to that too. President Obama, he did sign executive orders. The executive order was titled "The White House Initiative on Historically Black Colleges and Universities" back in 2010. 10, I believe. The executive order included a 5% or 13 million increase for the strengthening HBCU program and support for the 85 million in mandatory funding for HBCUs in the pending Student Aid and Fiscal Responsibility Act. But that 85 million part, 85 million in mandatory funding, it was support for it, but he did not approve it, supposedly.
He supported, but he did not. That's even more confusing. He supported it, but he didn't.
That's according to the report.
Oh wait, so is it 85 million or is it 850 million?
85 million. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's 85. That's a big difference.
85 million.
So
I didn't mean 285. 85 million.
So 85. Okay, so that's a big difference. That's even more of a. It's only 85 million. I mean, you're dealing with the federal government with a budget of 16 trillion or something, and they didn't approve. All right, you know what? Let's
let's go on.
Yeah, because that's really
let's go on.
Weird, and I have no clue what was going on with that one. Yeah. So moving forward, let's get into this Trump administration meeting with HBCUs coming up in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So to start off, the important thing is who's going to be there, right? No offense to Omarosa or, to be completely honest, anybody. And we talked about this before, but people within the diversity coalition under Trump, so far they have done a ridiculously terrible job. If they're the one invited.
Just look at real quick. Just look at Pastor Darnell Scott.
Oh,
he's the CEO.
Oh,
he's the CEO of the National Trump Diversity Coalition. So just look at him.
God. So for those,
and if you don't know what he said,
yeah. Well, let's get into that. Let's get it, because these are the people who are advising Donald Trump, and these are most likely the people who are going to be at this meeting. So do you want to talk about that, or should I?
No, you start. I'd like you to start.
Comments. Yeah. So basically, Trump had his diversity meeting, if you will. And people who were there were, like you said, Scott. Pastor Scott, as well as like Ben Carson. I think Omarosa was there. Basically, a bunch of black people for Black History Month. And basically, as you said, Pastor Scott in the meeting essentially tells Trump that he was contacted by Chicago thugs. That was his words, not mine. Chicago thugs who want to meet with President Trump and get the quote unquote body count down. And the reason why Pastor Scott said that they contacted him is because they understand that Trump is somebody they need to speak with, and they respect him, and they want to get that body count down, aka the murders in Chicago. They want to decrease that, but they also want help with from Trump with like inner city programs. So now, how I'm saying this I can't emphasize enough how degrading Pastor Scott kind of was talking about. Honestly, people in Chicago. I mean, he just kept emphasizing that these thugs, man, they want to talk to you, President Trump, because they're trying to get that body count.
They respect you.
Yeah, they respect you,
and they respect you.
Yep, and they want to get that body count down. Because these thugs, they contacted me. I didn't contact them. They contacted me. That's what he said though. That is what he said. Like he was like, they contacted me. So I was like, yeah, let's work together so we can get that body count down, and we can get some funding in the inner city. So, I mean, I'm not saying he is this, but what I will say is he did sound kind of what's the word, like coonish. He sounded
no.
Yes,
facetious. Nah.
Yeah, he did. I mean, why would he say thugs? Why would he say thugs? All right, let's start there. There's no, yeah. No. I asked you a question. I said, why would he even start out the conversation by saying Chicago thugs like contacted me? Hello, right?
I think we're having problems with the live stream.
Yeah. Can you? No, no. Live stream is good. It would be your phone.
Okay, say it again.
Yeah, I said, why would he start off the conversation by saying thugs?
He said thugs because he wanted to put an emphasis and tried to make it seem as though I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't even lie. I don't know.
yeah,
It's kind of like he wanted to portray a certain image of people he's talking to.
yeah,
Make it sound more negative than what it. I mean, make it sound okay. These negative people, the people who you said who are causing the problems in the city you're constantly talking about and proposing to bring the federal guards into, are contacting me. So it gets some credibility.
yeah. But I mean, he didn't have to say like. There's a lot of ways he could have talked about the
He
people if
just
they
said
did
gang members.
contact them. Yeah. Game members. Like if this really happened, which we don't know, but if they really contacted him, then
But
there's a
he said it. No, they didn't contact him.
no. He said they did
He
contact
admitted
him.
to the line.
Oh, he
He said
admitted to
one of them,
lying.
a former. Yeah, he admitted to lying. He said one of them. He said he was sleep. He was half asleep. I mean, he said he was half asleep, but he said he didn't get much rest the previous day before.
Oh my god.
He said a former gang member contacted him. One. So he
Alternative
admitted to basically making a story up.
alternative facts. Alternative facts.
Yeah, I mean, alternative facts. They're not lies. They're just stories.
Yeah, they're just okay. Well,
Fictional stories.
well, to be completely honest, that makes a lot more sense. Because as a
Yeah.
person from Chicago, right? As a person from Chicago, do you think anybody would contact him?
No.
Exactly. Like that's.
But I mean, at the
But
same
what?
time, who knows? Who knows who's seeking publicity? And who
Yeah,
knows
that's
who
true.
supports
Let's see publicity.
who supports who respects Scott Old. They have family members in Chicago. And who knows? I mean, but it's kind of it's definitely sad that he would go on TV
Yeah.
and say that. Like, what was the point of doing all that?
I mean, it's
I'm
like
not going to say it's coonish, but
you said to
it was unnecessary.
we could take out the cool since you don't support that, but it's like you said he wanted to add credibility to what he was saying.
Yeah,
So
right.
calling them thugs and calling them
He
gang
wanted to,
members and saying they respect
and
me
he
is
didn't
fine.
have to do that.
Now this is even more alarming. So let's segue into the HBCU meeting. If that's
Okay, and now, real quick, I wanted to point it out.
oh
Did
go
you know that Omarosa graduated from HBCU or attended HBCU?
I think I was aware of that. That doesn't surprise me. I
Okay,
think I've seen it somewhere before.
she's a alumni of Central State in Wilberforce, Ohio, and she attended Howard University in Washington D.C. She at the meeting, like I said, she will be there, and she would also be included. Well, the congressional members who will be there with her are Senator Marco Rubio, Senator Paul Ryan, Representative Bradley Love, Representative May Love, and former Representative J.C. Watts. So, just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, so those people are going to be attending. Your best
And this
bet.
is happening on the same day as the State of the Union.
Okay, interesting. Well, your best bet going into that meeting is Paul Ryan then. If you're an HBCU, because he's the person over the budget. Well, people see him as the person who's going to be over the budget in terms of what gets approved and what doesn't for the federal government. So yeah, that's pretty much the guy you got to convince um, if you need federal funding. So and you know he's
What's that?
I mean Paul Ryan he's relatively reasonable. So that's pretty much that's good luck. But what I was gonna say, segueing into the HBCU meeting was that that is a little bit alarming on the fact that Pastor Scott felt that he had to lie in that meeting in order to, I guess, gain respect and or seem useful for President Trump. Because if that's the tone that President Trump is sending in throughout his administration, that I want big wins and I want big, headlines and whatnot, and people go into a meeting and they don't think that they have it, they may, give alternative facts to.
But the thing is, it's sad he did that, and it's sad he did it
True, but he's not the
during
only
the
one.
meeting about
He's not the only
African
one
American
doing
history.
that.
He did it about Black History. When they doing when they were talking about Black History Month. What was it talk about? A meeting supposedly be focused on Black History Month, celebrating Black History Month. What was the point of that? And real quick, I'm sorry, I wanted to go back to the guests of people. And they give more credibility to the people who attended the meeting. Senator Tim Scott and Representative Walker wife attended Winston-Salem State, which is a HBCU in North Carolina.
Okay.
So they will, maybe they,
Hello?
in particular, Mark Walker, he may have a little bit better insight about HBCUs, him and Omarosa, since his wife attended Winston-Salem State. So, but I just want to throw that out there. Let's continue on about Scott, though.
About Tim Scott's pretty good. So okay, that's fine. But yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's segue over to the actual meeting. What we think is going to happen, and what we think they should do. But with all those people, so the good thing is that they actually have people who are influential and can get stuff done in that meeting. So that is one thing I was worried about. I didn't want just the diversity coalition to be at that meeting, because if that were to happen, I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think anything would get done. I don't believe in the diversity coalition. I think that they're just names.
Definitely agree with that.
There's really no nice way to put it. Now with that being said, we're still 4 weeks into the Trump administration.
Right.
But so far, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how you could do a worse job than what they've been doing so far. I mean, Trump's talking about bringing in the federal police in the inner city, and I mean, Diversity Coalition doesn't seem to be stopping it. Muslim ban, Diversity Coalition is stopping. Like they're doing a pretty crappy job as of right now. But things can change. Now, with the HBCU meeting, let's talk about some of the things that HBCUs need. And I think you already mentioned it before, but funding. I mean, it is what it is. Although HBCUs are educating a record number of, blacks or African Americans, whatever, students, they're still far behind majority colleges when it comes to funding. And,
right.
It's a mix of things. But a lot of it has to do with, their share of, the funding when it comes to the federal government, as well as like state governments, although most of them are private colleges, so they don't receive funding from the state. But
fall under the certain lines, but
yeah. So obviously going into this meeting, that's why Paul Ryan is such a big win to have him in that meeting, because I mean, at least at the very worst, it's an opportunity to talk to somebody who's in the budget committee who can say yes or no to some of the things that they're asking for. Do you know which colleges are going to be which colleges?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, so we can probably say Howard's going to be there if it's in DC. Omarosa's pulling.
Yeah, actually, Betsy DeVos, she met with the president of Howard recently.
Yeah.
To talk about her platform and I guess what she plans to do. So it's kind of, I mean, they're preparing for it, so to say. They have the cabinet members meeting with Howard being one of the, not if not the top HBCU in the land, but meeting with DeVos, Secretary of Education. I mean,
it's gotta be.
Maybe they're really serious about it. I don't know, but at the same time, when you look at Miss DeVos's resume, it doesn't hold up. So
I don't know. In her defense, she doesn't. they actually talked about this in terms of colleges and universities. Her resume is pretty much zero. So nobody, like for example, when they were talking about the loan program, because she hasn't dealt with colleges and universities, literally nobody knows what she's gonna do with that.
What to expect?
Yeah, so I mean, she's showing up to HBCUs. That's well and good, but as of right now, I know I can't project what she's gonna do when it comes to like secondary education. Uh,
Yeah,
you
nobody
know,
can.
yeah. So, and crazy enough, that's you can say that about a lot of Trump's cabinet members. You just don't know because they just don't have experience in the in the department that they're entering. Funny enough, they may have experience in the industry, um, but when it comes to dealing with the government, a lot of them just don't. So we just don't know. But yeah, I mean, you're right. This is, hey, look. Whoa, hello. Uh,
Sorry about that.
yeah, whatever.
Some noise in the background.
Yeah, no worries. Whatever side you're on, I mean, this is a positive, right? I get some people are
Hmm.
like, yeah, you may have some, you know, you may not be convinced that he actually means what he says in terms of, you know, helping out HBCUs, but this is a positive. I mean, Betsy DeVos is having meetings with Howard University. They're about to have an HBCU meeting with the Trump administration, fairly early, I might add, into his administration. So this is exactly
But
what you want.
we have to keep in mind the State of the Union is that same day, and I hate to say it, it's the last day of Black History Month.
So
So, kind of sounds good to meet with them at this time. At this time, it's a great time to meet with them and just boast about it during the State of the Union speech, and end it off at the end of Black History Month. Perfect timing, wouldn't you agree?
it depends on what he's gonna say. If he's trying to, I mean, I can't even say
You
that.
say, "Hey, I want to fund. I'm going to give the HBCUs more federal funding." Don't say how much, but just, "Hey, I met with HBCU presidents today. We agreed to give them more funding in the future."
I mean,
Maybe you have more people that's going to back them. I mean, I'm just throwing out some numbers. Would that work? Who knows? But I just want to throw that out there, though.
yeah, I mean, what he does after the, I mean, you might be right. But I really wish. So the first things first, right? Let's start in terms of the actual meeting. First things first. One of the things that the HBCUs are probably going to ask for is to renew that 85 million, um,
Right?
which I think we can both agree should be renewed. I just can't see why it can't. If anything, it should be renewed and increased. I mean, if it was 85 million under the Bush administration, due to inflation, I mean, it just makes sense that that number should probably increase. Uh, Now, Obama giving has increased it over $1 billion. I'm guessing that's a
Yes.
billion in 8 years versus like
Yes.
annually. So
Correct. And yes.
obviously, that's something that they should also ask for is continued support in that increase for grants especially. Um, Obviously,
Yeah. An- Another thing too, as far as the HBCUs, maybe as for the HBCUs who are on the brink of closing, maybe they can go about giving more funding to them if they meet certain criteria by a certain year. Maybe they can help them stay open. Like
I
with Morris
mean,
Brown, I mean, you saw them. I mean, when they lost their accreditation almost 15 years ago. So it's kind of like I understand you're losing your accreditation, but you're still trying to keep students in. So if you meet a certain criteria year by year, maybe they can increase funding to your institution for it can become what it used to be, possibly.
I mean, I'm actually on the opposite end of that. I think that if you're a failing institution,
So let it
see,
go.
yeah, because here's the thing about Morris Brown. Like Morris Brown was offered when they were going through their accreditation issue, they were offered funding. Like they were offered it and they turned it down. And that's another thing. Let's talk about one of the big issues with HBCUs, and that is when they're offered funding and they turn it down because they can't control it. because they can't control where
Mm.
the funding goes. Like they got to get over that. Um, they got to get over that quick. Uh, because if the federal funding say, hey, we're going to fund you, but you have to put it towards let's say whatever computer science, for example, it has to go towards STEM,
Right.
and these particular
Right.
programs over the next 4 years. I have absolutely no reason to see why they would like turn that down. Because time and time, I'm about to get on my soapbox a little bit here, but I've heard so many stories and so many examples of people offering HBCUs funding and them turning it down because they can't control where the money goes. That is ridiculous. And we're not talking about people saying, "Hey, I want my money to go to, the football stadium instead of going to,
Right.
like social sciences." That is
Academics.
not, yeah, that is not what's happening. I've heard examples of the exact opposite where they're like, I want it to go to academics, but I don't know where my money's going to go. So I want to control which programs it goes to, and then the HBCUs turn it down. That is ridiculous. Yeah, that is
And if you're already struggling when it comes to fundraising,
exactly.
I mean, why not accept it?
Exactly. Like they turn, which that's actually a little bit different, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I mean, there's just examples and too many examples, too many stories of HBCUs turning down funding that can help them and their students because of superficial reasons. And
Right.
as we go into the Trump administration, they're going to be a lot less understanding of these superficial reasons. A heck of a lot less understanding. Because
Right.
the Trump administration, they're gonna give you two. They're gonna, hey, this is what it is. If you don't accept it, get out of my way. It's either this or nothing.
True.
And there's gonna be a lot less room for negotiation when they go into meetings like this. So whoever these leaders are and whoever these presidents are that are gonna go into this meeting, it should be a lot less. Because with HBCUs, HBCUs for whatever reason they're really big on history, right? I think we could both agree to that.
Yeah, definitely.
They're all about, well, we've been about this for 50 years. We need to continue to be about this. Well, no, things have changed. Situations have changed.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't. I mean, I understand that, but we still it's changed, but we can't neglect our history, so we can still
when I
be traditional.
What I say
but we
by
do
this
have to
is,
adjust.
well, no, what I mean by this is, and I don't want to target anybody specifically, and I'm not just talking about our HBCU that we went to. I'm not even targeting that,
Right.
but HBCUs in general do the whole. They want to build leaders, but they want to build leaders in specific areas.
Well, I'll say what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like and particularly like in theology or
exactly.
business,
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We need to expand on that, or the arts, or something like that. We need to expand on that. And if they're offering you funding in specific areas that aren't necessarily what you've been producing historically, there's no reason not to accept that. I mean, it's just a different era, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's time to expand and grow on that. That also means changing your internal processes, which a lot of HBCUs do need help with, even though they'll never admit it. That's okay. Just because you've been doing something for 50 years and it's been okay, it's been successful,
working.
yeah, it's been working, or whatever you consider to be working, doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you should always be evolving and changing with the times. And a lot of HBCUs just haven't, and that's why they're struggling. And you get opportunities when it comes to things like funding that allow you to change and evolve into what you need to be in today's society. I mean, it's time that the leadership in these particular universities and colleges change with the times, or quite honestly step aside. So it really depends.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, it really depends on who's going to be at this meeting and what they're willing to give up.
Exactly.
Because
What they're willing to give up, and the fact that what they're willing to accept.
Yeah, I think that's a
I
better
mean,
word. What they're willing to accept.
And the fact that, are you going to be too critical of the president to accept anything from the president?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I'm pretty sure some of these HBCUs are going to go in there and say, hey, we're not going to accept this funding unless, a bit extreme, but hey, we're only going to accept this funding if you get rid of the Muslim ban or something like that.
Yeah, and that's probably not. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Although, in Trump,
So
he's actually, funny enough, something actually just came out today where Trump said that he's
all
looking.
simpler
Yeah, he's looking at other
to
things.
change it.
Yep, other than the Muslim ban. Which,
Yeah.
honestly, if he's serious about that, that is a great thing. I cannot applaud if he's serious. I cannot applaud the president more, because what that means is he cares about what the public. He cares about public perception. Yeah. So if he tries to push something forward in terms of an agenda, and enough of the public says no, he's going to be like, okay, let's adjust other things, because as he cares about security. So because of that, he does think that we do need to be more secure. So, but if the public doesn't like the agenda that he's going towards, then he's willing to change it. But yeah. So that's pretty much our thoughts on HBCUs and kind of what they should expect with the Trump administration. Yep, what were you about to say?
One more thing too, like I said, the fact that, are they going to be willing to accept something the president offers, but they'll still be critical of his policy? Well, they're not going to accept things because they're too critical of his policy. But you also have to tie in, will there be protests in regards to these HBCU presidents meeting with President Trump and his, well, not President Trump, but congressional members and Omarosa. So I mean,
that's a good question. We could probably.
It's kind of like you got to weather the storm and go in with open mind and see what happens.
Yeah, that's actually.
You never know. I mean,
yeah, that's actually a really good point.
So,
Will people be outside protesting? I hope not, because he's the president.
I hope not, but I think they are. I mean, I think there's going to be some protests. Maybe even some HBCUs refusing to see him.
You should write an article.
Or even meet with him.
You should write an article about that.
Definitely.
Should HBCUs protest or meet with the Trump administration? There it is. There it is. But
the class, I mean, you never know. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That's pretty interesting. I never even thought about that. But yeah, that goes into like what we were saying about how are they going to accept? Because again, the Trump administration, it's just going to be, it's either this or this. There's not going to be really much room for negotiation, in my opinion. So
no, it's not.
Were they willing to accept? And that's really pretty much what it comes down to. So,
yeah.
So all right,
definitely.
That's pretty much it from us at Supplierty News. As always, thank you so much for listening to us, and definitely supporting us. We've got over 1,000 views on the YouTube now, growing on SoundCloud and whatnot. So appreciate
also, real quick, I wanted you to let people know a little bit about a tool that can possibly help small businesses and people who are in the supply diversity field. I think it would be beneficial. So a tool you created, and I think everybody should hear about it before we end the podcast today. Just giving a brief plug about it.
Yeah, we should actually probably start doing that at the beginning. I've been listening to podcasts and they do that at the beginning. So probably should. Yeah, it's all good. But yeah. So Supplierty.com. It helps organizations connect with, or it helps small and diverse businesses connect with large corporations. So if you're trying to looking to find out how to connect with or how to do business with, just name a large business, from the Coca-Colas to the Deltas to the GMs, General Mills, you name it. That's what the tool essentially helps you. Helps you find out more about how to register your business with them, as well as the entire process for how to win a contract. And if you're a tier 1 supplier and you have to report to these organizations your supply diversity or small business spend, it also helps you in that regard too. So, twofold. But we're also trying to expand on that. We also have buy lists, so you know exactly what they're purchasing. And in addition to that, in the next couple of weeks, we're also going to be inputting like the different certifications that they're looking for. So that way you have your everything that you have to have in order when trying to connect with these guys. In addition, we also have different conferences and events that are going on over the next couple of months. So if you want to connect with these guys, you can do so as well. So trying to gain support for that. I got a couple of organizations in support. Just trying to get a couple of more, and then kind of push that out all at once. Hopefully, and before the summer of this year. So definitely check it out, supplierty.com. So
Definitely.
yep.
All right.
Yeah. So another good day. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any, as always, follow, like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, definitely contact us on Twitter or contact at globaldiversitynews.com. So thank you again, and
Definitely.
have a great day.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.